JD Reynolds, welcome to the Music Universe Social Media Extras. How are you from all the way from New South Wales, Australia? I think you're our first Australian guest. How are you?
G'day, I'm very well, thank you, and thank you for having me. How are you guys?
Well, hearing your chipper Australian accent, I'm very, very good. Very good.
Good to hear.
And First thing
I want to ask you is, I know that Australia has had a a stricter response to COVID than we've been able to have here in the States. Without getting into the politics of it, how has the way Australia handled their lockdown, particularly last year, affected your ability to get back to performing? Are you back to performing? Are you still under lockdown? What's the situation?
Okay, so I'm in New South Wales. This is the strictest lockdown state, New South Wales. New South Wales and Victoria are both pretty strict in lockdown at the moment. So it has greatly affected my ability to get back onto the stage because we literally can't. There's no live gigs, there's no live music. It's not allowed. But we're really hoping that restrictions can ease very, very soon. Please lift these restrictions so that we can literally sing for our supper.
Now, you were telling me off camera that you were actually in America when the pandemic hit and you had to get home. How hard was that for you at that point?
It was very difficult. So before the pandemic hit, I was pretty much an Aus-American. I was 50-50 living in Australia and living in the beautiful United States of America. And then I was getting these text messages from our government, about about a flu-like disease, and to please come home. And I got the first one, thought, okay, that's worrying. And then when I got the second one, I thought, oh, this is a little bit more serious than what maybe is being made out. So I thought, well, I might go back home and be with family, make sure everyone's all right. So flew back home. And I've been here ever since, and I can't fly back out. So I've been busting to fly back to the United States of America, but I'm not allowed at the moment. So hopefully those restrictions will be lifted very soon.
Yeah.
Where would you live when you were in the States?
I was living in California at the time when the pandemic hit, and I was flying back and forth. I had family in New York, so I was flying back and forth between California and New York.
How long of a plane ride is it from California to Australia if you were to do that straight through?
Straight through, it's pretty good, and it depends if you get onto one of the newer planes. So you can pretty much go from Sydney, Australia, to LA in about 13 and a half hours. It used to be a lot longer, and it depends on what time of day you fly out as well, if you get the tailwinds or not. The longest I've ever been is 18 hours, where it just dragged. And we had no tailwinds. We were fighting against the wind the whole time, and that was delays on the tarmac as well. So that wasn't a pleasant flight. But you can get it over and done and dusted in 13 and a half. See you later.
Wow. Well, we love that you were here and hope that you can come back soon. But what do you say to that? Do you just say whatever? I mean, that's the title of your new single.
Oh, every time you turn on the news, isn't it? Is everyone turning on the news and saying my song? Whatever. It's the news is changing on a minute-by-minute basis. So you turn on the news and you think, I wonder what's going to be happening today. If the restrictions are easing, are we going to be out of this? Are we going to get a little bit more of this? But it's all whatever.
Tell us about the track.
That's right, she said. That's right. Everyone go and check out whatever. Just blast it out of your speakers, because that's my attitude for 2021.
Exactly. Well, it has to be. It has to be. How have you? So, talk about the origins of the song. What prompted you to write it?
Okay, it's a great story, true story. My friends and I were just hanging out on my front porch one late afternoon after a hard day, and we'd literally just had jeans, we were dressed like this, jeans, t-shirts, caps, boots. And I said to my girls, I really want to go out, but I can't be bothered getting dressed up. And they said, no, I can't be bothered getting dressed up either. And I said, well, let's just go, whatever, let's just go. So we jumped in the 4x4s and we drove into the Big Smoke, and we went, we joined the lineup of this fancy schmancy red velvet lined pub. And inside there's a nightclub, and all the girls and all the guys in the line just looked immaculate. They all looked like, I don't know, Vogue models. And here we were, just country girls, really dressed down, but we weren't dirty. We were just dressed down, literally looking like this. And when we got up to the bouncer, we just said, we're country girls. We've just driven straight here. It took us hours to get here. Please let us in. And the bouncer was so cool. He said, oh, in you go, girls. And we had the best night. We didn't care whatever anyone thought of us. We wore whatever, did whatever, said whatever. We got on the dance floor, danced our butts off. And it was coming home from that night where I was in the 4x4 and I was just drifting off with the fairies. And I thought, wow, what a great night. And I wrote the whole song by the time I got home.
Wow. And the video, I saw the video. It's very neat, very clever. And it's done in a bar-like setting. Was it filmed in that same bar?
A very, very similar bar. I would have loved to have gotten into the same Sydney bar, but unfortunately, with the restrictions in lockdown, we had to sort of think outside the box, and they were closed at the time. So we found I wanted to find a very, very similar bar, which we did, and it's a beautiful bar, and we were lucky enough to film in there and really film and capture the mood of the night that we had when the song was written. And I couldn't be happier with the music video. It really does depict the night that we had and the fun that we had.
Well, you definitely represent country girls very well, because the way you guys are portrayed in the video, I know is real life country music here.
Yes, well, that's us. We were, there's no muss, no fuss, no bells and whistles, no smoke and mirrors. It was us. It's who we are. It was so fun to have, because we've got old beaten up Jeeps, and and it was so cool that that Jeep came along and said, look, you guys can have a couple of new Wranglers to film in. And we were, that alone, we were so excited about. Wow. And I pretty much was wearing in the video what I wore that night. I had my Goon Brothers Chicky hat on. It's my favorite cap. My girls looked exactly the way they looked. And it was just exact. I had the same jeans on, the same boots on. So I think that's what when people write to me about the music video clip and say, my God, it's so awesome. It's so real. I really feel like that it's just it's a documentary instead of a music video. I love it when they say that, because that's exactly pretty much what it is. It's a doco instead of a music video.
Love it. I love it. So being from Australia, what's the country music scene like in Australia, and who are some of your Australian music influences?
That's a really good question, because I grew up listening to the music that my mum loved, which was the greats. She grew up listening to all of these fantastic artists. She grew up listening to Elvis and Roy Orbison. And then when I was born, and obviously when Prince came along, she was the biggest Prince fan. So I grew up listening to Prince and Michael Jackson and Roy Orbison and Dolly Parton. And I loved country music from a very, very early age. I think Jolene was my first word. But country music, my mum really didn't listen to it. But I've started listening to it, of course. We've got some fabulous country artists here. But my biggest influences were Prince, the greats, the Prince of everything, King of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, Roy Orbison, Johnny Cash. That's who I listened to. And that's who I still listen to.
All right. And was that music easily accessible in Australia? I mean, we take it for granted here because it originates from here, but was it easy for you to get it there?
Well, my mum was a music fan and a big music lover. So even as a young girl, she'd be scrolling through the music shops and getting the vinyls. And I remember she said to me when I picked up a Prince vinyl. I thought, who is this? This looks really interesting. She took it home and started playing it, and she just loved it. And so we've had access to great music. I think that our stores have always done a really good job of having all sorts of music, and so my mum would buy it all and play it all, and I loved it all.
That's awesome.
Love that. Love that. Well, this has been really, really fun. But you got anything else? My gosh, this was so cool.
Yeah,
Go
I just
ahead.
kind of wanted to ask you about a debut album. Can we expect
Sure.
that soon?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a new single coming out very, very shortly, so stay tuned for that. It's super cool, so I hope you all love it and embrace it. And then not long after that, I have my full-length album being released. Man, I can't tell you how cartwheel excited I am about this. It is. I'm very, very fussy. I'm a perfectionist. I won't release anything that isn't just spot on. I love and admire and respect my fans. So every single song on the album is a single. Every single song on the album has my blood, sweat, and tears all over it, literally. And so it's a roller coaster of emotions, this album. So that will be coming out. And just look on all of my socials, JD Reynolds Official. Just look on all the socials for some updates. Yeah, stay tuned.
I love it. Hey, a name just came to my head. Another Australian country singer who I just love. We've had on before, Jamie O'Neill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. Well, we've got such good artists out here.
Yes.
We really do. And we have a very, I think there's a real honesty in our country music.
Oh, yeah.
There's no punches pulled. We pretty much sing hard truths, and what you get is what you see. And that's what I love about country music in Australia. I think it's that raw truth telling that makes it really, really awesome.
And you do it so well. Yes, you do.
And the
Thank
biggest
you.
one we haven't had on yet that maybe we can get him at some point, Keith Urban.
Keith.
How did I not think? Oh my
How
gosh.
cool is Keith? Yeah, look, I love listening to Keith. I like watching Keith. I think he's a great performer, and you can see he's a good dude. You can see that he's just that really down-to-earth Aussie. And what I love about him, he hasn't lost that. I don't think he's lost that down-to-earth Aussiness, nor is Nicole. I've met Nicole when I was, and she's never lost that down-to-earth Aussiness. And that's what I love about the two of them so much. And that's what I think comes across in Keith's music as well. He's so down to earth and he's so realistic, and he's just a true blue Aussie. Well, we love him. I love his music. And Keith, how about we do a bit of a duet, yo?
Well, maybe he'll hear that. That would be awesome. That would be
great.
awesome.
How cool would it be?
That'd be awesome. All right, but before we wrap, any plans? I guess it all depends, obviously, on the lockdown, but any plans maybe for next year on touring?
Oh, as soon as this lockdown is finished and as soon as we are able, I am on the first plane out to the United States of America. I want to jump on a stage. I want to see my fans. I want to do what I do best, and that is perform. So when you come to a JD Reynolds concert, y'all, you will get a real performance. I won't be standing there. I'm a trained dancer, so you get a full show. And I can't wait. I just want to see everyone's smiling faces. I try to reach out to my fans as much as I can through socials, but it's just not the same. You've got to see those, the twinkle in the eye, the people singing along to your lyrics, and I just, that genuine love that we have for each other between fan and artist, nothing beats it.
No. Well, I can't wait to see you. We will be in the seats. Oh my gosh.
You guys will be there for sure, for sure.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Your personality just radiates. Let me tell you that. So I can only
thank you.
imagine what it is on the stage. JD Reynolds, thank you so much for your time today. What a pleasure.
Thank you for having me. God bless y'all. Stay well and safe, and much love from Australia.